This episode is brought to you by Marvel Studios Echo. All episodes streaming January 9th, only on Hulu and Disney+. Rated TV MALV. Viewer discretion advised. Maya Lopez has betrayed her mentor, the notorious Kingpin. Now on the run, she returns to her hometown to prepare for the biggest fight of her life. Don't miss Marvel Studios' hardest-hitting series yet. An epic 5-episode event. Marvel Studios Echo. All episodes streaming January 9th, only on Hulu and Disney+.
Join me, 48 Hours correspondent Erin Moriarty, on my podcast, My Life of Crime, as I take on true crime investigations like no other. This season, I'm looking into the labyrinth of crime and secrets within families. I'm cutting straight to the evidence and talking to the people directly involved, including investigators and the families of victims. Listen to My Life of Crime with Erin Moriarty wherever you get your podcasts.
This episode is brought to you by KPMG. At KPMG, innovation is the go-to state of mind. Their visionary thinkers and advanced technology help you see beyond the now, uncover new insights, and turn them into opportunities. KPMG can help you leverage the value of data and drive transformational outcomes through innovation. To explore their thinking, go to kpmg.us.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this is your Bloody Happy Hour. Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we're about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody Happy Hour.
Hey y'all, this is April.
And this is Caroline.
This is Tuesday, your quickie episode with Bloody Happy Hour.
Ooh, we got some good ones today, I'm assuming. I don't know.
Yes, we actually got a lot. Not a lot, but there's been a lot in the news lately.
Yeah, this past couple weeks, yeah.
And I'm sure I hadn't even covered it all, but let's start off with Gabby Petito.
Okay.
And the Brian Laundrie quick update that came out
just
2 days ago?
Yeah.
So Miss Roberta Laundrie has finally spoken. So Gabby Petito, that story, if you don't know it, you just were born yesterday. We did do an episode, a quickly little episode on it in the past. You can find that, or you could just Google Gabby Petito. But she's the one that was found dead, and her boyfriend, fiance at the time, Brian Laundrie, killed himself for killing her. So when they found him, they found his confession letter. And I assume when they found his notebook and stuff, they found this letter from Mom. Is that how they found this letter?
I believe so.
Okay. So in this letter, it was titled, or it was in an envelope. This was labeled "Burn After Reading." And in this letter, she talked about getting a shovel and helping him bury a body.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right now, the Petitos have a lawsuit against the Laundries and the Laundries' attorney because they think, or they know, that the Laundries knew about Gabby's death long before and chose not to disclose.
And had their attorney speak out. I think that's kind of where it all comes to, how that they can even bring a case or bring something to do with the, because they were having Stephen Bertolino, or whatever his name is, speak for them and giving a statement, leading the Petitos to believe that she was still alive.
Oh, okay. So after all this time, Roberta Laundrie has finally spoken, and she's explaining this letter that has been the topic of conversation for a while. And she explained the burn after reading.
Mm-hmm.
She said that she didn't want to embarrass him because that letter contained writings that
From like a book.
Inappropriate. Well, she didn't say inappropriate. She says, no mother would talk to her adult son in the way that I talked to him in this letter. I would not want anybody else to find it and it embarrass him. So first I was like, ooh, what is it? Is she in love with him? What kind of weird shit is that? I mean, I did breastfeed my son till still now, and he's 21, but that's not weird at all.
No, that's
just joking,
that's
y'all.
actually
Don't
normal.
call adult CPS. Adult CPS. She also claims that this letter was written way before they even left on this trip in 2021 to Grand Teton Park and wherever else they went, and that it was written during a time that her and her son's relationship was strained. She referenced Little Bear and another childhood story book that she used to read to Brian growing up. And that's where the reference of the shovel and burying the body and everything came. But I was like, what kind of childhood
book is this?
Children's book did I not read to Trenton when he was little that talked about burying a body?
Okay, Roberta. Okay.
And that Gabby gifted Brian a book called Burn After Reading.
And that was a movie.
Was it a movie too?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just remember it from that being like the title of the movie. But yeah.
So
or Burn After Writing was.
Writing
that
was the title.
Yeah.
Okay. So she's trying to get this letter thrown out of evidence of this lawsuit that the Petitos have against them, and the case is scheduled to go forward May 24th. And so Petito's team, they're trying to keep this letter in because the letter's not dated, so you can't rule out that it was written at the time that Gabby had went missing or that they were on the trip. And does this suggest something premeditated? I don't know.
I don't either. It's so weird. I can't believe she spoke.
Yeah. And then a small little Shanquilla Robinson update. It came out on March 6th.
Oh, yeah.
That actually parents and their attorney, so Shanquilla is the hairdresser / I think Instagram model maybe, that went on a trip to Mexico with a bunch of her very good friends and then ended up dead. Friends said it was alcohol poisoning, but she was actually beat to death because video was released. Well, their attorneys, Ben Crump, they all spent Friday afternoon in Washington, D.C., demanding President Joe Biden and the U.S. Department of State to intervene on the investigation into Shanquilla's alleged murder, but it's murder.
Oh, it's
I guess you have
murder.
to say alleged. I don't know what the response is to that. I feel like it was a conversation probably like Vanessa Guillen's parents had and when they went to the White House and sat with Trump, and they were like, it was like, Trump, you got to do something about this. So they're climbing to the top, trying to get the investigation here in the U.S., which from what I understand, the Mexican authorities are working well with the U.S. authorities. But when you're dealing with multiple countries and it takes a long time, the person that was supposed to get extradited still never has been.
Yeah.
It's just,
and we thought
just
she was
sitting.
Yeah.
So I can understand that their urgency for this.
Yeah, because it just like went away. It just nothing happened.
Yeah. And we're gonna talk about Mexico.
Right
now because have you ever heard of the place Matamoros?
Oh, well, I have the past week.
Yes. So this is going to bring up a story that I am now going to have to do, because the last time Matamoros was big and in the news like this was when a UT student went missing down there and was found in basically a human garden of bodies after a spring break trip.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mark Kilroy was his name. We did that for a book club, and so I'm going to have to do it and cover it. It's a horrible story. So let's talk about a group of best friends. Some of them were family members from South Carolina. They have been friends their whole life, okay? They're very close. They all traveled from South Carolina to Matamoros because Lativia McGee, who's 35-year-old mother of 6, was going to get cosmetic surgery. She was getting her bum done. And I had read later that this is like her second surgery in 3 years. So she had done this before. I couldn't find if it was actually there. It would make more sense.
What do you mean if it was actually there?
At Matamoros. Like, did she have another cosmetic surgery done there before, and that's why she was going back because she's familiar with it and the doctor? Or was it
I don't know if
else?
it was there or if they were just making their way through there to get to another location, like to get to the surgery place.
The surgery center was supposed to be in Matamoros.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So
can I ask, how do you afford this? How do I go pay for?
It's so much cheaper. So
yeah, but still, like, what is it?
It's
like
a booty. It's getting your
but is it
booty
like
done.
if it's $5,000 here, it's $500 there or something?
No. I think it's probably like half the price. So instead of paying like $5,000 or maybe let's say $7,000 here, you can get it there for $3,500 or something.
I mean, I know a lot of people who. Well, I'm probably 4 or something. I don't know, people who have had successful surgeries in Mexico.
Yeah, I do too. But here's what's crazy. So they're going, and her friends are going with her. So they were getting up. They were going to drop Lativia off at the place where she's going to have surgery. Her friends' name were Cheryl Orange, Eric Williams, Zindale Brown, and Shahid Woodard. Okay, now Cheryl didn't leave that morning because she left her ID. Thank you, Jesus, I bet she's saying. She left her ID, and so she wasn't going to be able to cross the border. And so the other ones went with her. They were going to drop her off and bring their ass right back across the border. One of them, I believe it was Zindale Brown, did not want to go at all. He thought it was a bad idea, but he wanted to go and be with his friends. So they could not even get to the surgery place because they get a little lost. And another vehicle, I think it was a white truck, runs into them and crashes them on purpose and starts shooting at the van. So Cheryl's back in Brownsville at the hotel waiting on her friends. She doesn't hear from them. They don't show up. She's calling them. Their phones are turned off. She files a report, I believe, by that next day. When she files the report, she had no idea where the surgery was taking place, and she had no idea what routes they were going. She just knows why they were there, who was all there, and that they're back not back now. By that Tuesday, so this was a Friday, I forgot the dates, but it was just last week, basically. So they found him just now, this Tuesday.
Yeah.
Brown and Woodard were killed. And then Williams and McGee, they were shot and they were injured. There was an arrest made for a guy, and his alias is Jose N. When they found them, he was guarding the victims in a wooden house outside of Matamoros. Now, the state is called Tamaulipas. Tamaulipas is the state that Matamoros is in. The Attorney General said that right now, a kidnapping and double murder appeared to be a case of mistaken identity. That these group of Americans this cartel, because it was a cartel group that shot at him, had been confused with the rival Haitian drug smuggling gang that they had been going back and forth with.
Okay.
I
don't buy it. I don't buy it,
you don't
but
buy
you know,
it?
I don't.
You think the Attorney General's covering it up
Hell yeah, he covered up the whole COVID.
in Mexico?
No, the Mexican attorney,
Yeah,
or our Attorney General.
Attorney General of Tamaulipas.
Oh, of Tamaulipas. Well, I
Yeah.
don't know anything about him.
Yeah. So, the survivors were alive. They had to go to a hospital in Brownsville. And so they were kind of telling the story. And basically, they watched their best friends / family get killed right in front of their face. 2 of them tried to get out and take off running, and they got shot while they were running. 2 of them got shot while they were still in the van. They weren't able to take off running, but they watched their friends get killed. Right now, the 2 that were killed in Mexico are still in Mexico, and so they're working with Mexico officials to get their body from the Mexican funeral home and get them transported over the border into Brownsville, and then in Brownsville is where they'll have a second autopsy to see what actually happened during the days of like how their cause of death, and then like what actually went down. How did they die? And that's really it.
Whenever the two people who survived, you might have said this, but how did they started running, they get shot, and then what happened to them?
So they kidnapped. So the two that were still alive got forced into the back of a white truck.
Okay.
So there's video footage out of these gunmen grabbing them, putting them in the back of the truck, and taking them to this undisclosed location, which was an abandoned house outside of the city of Matamoros.
And they just left? Did they leave them there? And then they left?
One guy, Jose N., who is arrested now, was guarding them.
How did they
I don't know where the bodies were. So, cartel's bad there. Kidnappings are bad there.
Yeah.
I don't know how they found them, but there is video footage of the way that they went.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just like here, where gangs hang out. So they knew where to go, and they kind of did a blitz attack and got them. And then now they're safe at the hospital in Brownsville. One of them's has already been released.
Just sad that we have to go to Mexico or to other countries to get procedures done like this because we can't afford them here.
1 million American, more than a
Anna,
million
didn't
Americans
a couple
a
of them
year.
say they were trying to get like medication or some kind of medication as well? I don't know, but I know for sure the surgery.
But that happens.
But that does happen, and
that happens.
Really
especially a bunch of
sad that we can't afford stuff in our own country.
Yeah.
We have to go risk our lives to Matamoros or what was it called?
Matamoros, yeah. And so I just kind of brought up that Matamoros is now on the do not travel list.
I think, did they release that a few weeks ago? I don't know if they did, but people are like, oh, it's fine. You can still go to a resort. Resorts are safe. But you have to get to the resort.
Yeah.
And you have to go through these places because, you get at the airport, you got to hop into somebody's car and travel through it. So
they were traveling their own van, their own white minivan.
Because they drove
and they
the whole.
Lost. So then I was like, okay, so you got lost. They probably went on the wrong road, and cartel was like, look at these black people in this van. It's probably the Haitian gang. Boom! Like we're not going to ask questions.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. It's crazy. But 1 million Americans do it a year. And Matamoros used to be a very, very popular place to go. It wasn't like Cancun, but during spring break, American college students from all over the world would go down to the Padre area. And if you were underage, all you had to do is cross over the border.
Yep.
You got cheap beer. You got cheap women. You had a blast. And they actually had this fun strip that they had set up for college students.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Hi, this is Sarah.
And I'm Carter.
And this is Some of Our Thoughts.
We're two Southern sommeliers, and we want to share everything we love and know about wine. We started hanging out during quarantine and cooking and drinking and listening to music, and we just thought this would be a great way to bring everything we know to you guys.
We will make wine knowledge and food pairings easy and approachable. So put on your favorite vinyl, grab your favorite glass of wine, tune into our show, and let's have some fun.
Wine and vinyl. So check us out on roguemedianetwork.com or wherever you get your favorite podcast. We'll be talking about a lot.
Pros and heroes. Gonna tell you about pros and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Mike.
And we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us. looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
911, what's your emergency?
Do you hear that? It's coming from the house.
It's coming from inside the house? Do you mean? Could it be?
The Poltergeist. New from Rogue Media. Two haunted hotties talking about haunted places. Every episode we dive deep into the darkest places and give you a bit of history.
We're getting spooky in all the right places.
You've gobbled your last ghoul.
Follow along for the craziest and spookiest stories with Debbie's Dark Tourism. The Stanley Hotel,
Winchester House,
The Alamo,
Hotel Monte Vista,
and more spooky places. Find us at _Poltergals. POLTERGALS.
Look over your shoulder. It's us,
the Poltergals. Wherever you consume the podcast, you can find us there.
Is that like, do you know how far that is from Cancun?
No.
I remember being in Cancun once and
it's right on the border. It's far.
Oh, well, wherever we did, whoever I was with, we took a taxi, I guess. 45 minutes away to get to where there was all the clubs or whatever.
Yeah.
I could not imagine going and doing that now.
Yeah.
We would definitely be dead.
Probably.
I would be trafficked and I would be deceased.
Now, the highly popular traveled areas, they're not as dangerous because that's how they make their money and their living. And so if a vacationer is hurt, they're usually punished very harshly because that's how that town makes their money, is us coming. You know, people from outside coming.
Lordy.
So there's Mexico. Let's go to Italy really quick.
Okay.
There were 3 elementary age kids that were found dead inside of a home near Stratford Elementary in Ellis County, which is Italy area. That's Italy, Texas. So, 2 other...
That we're in Italy.
Italy, Texas. 2 other children were injured, and they were transported by helicopter to a hospital with a bunch of stab wounds. All the kids were siblings, so there was 5 of them total. A CPS caseworker arrived at this property unannounced and noticed that the mother, Shanquilla Hall, was there. And she was there unsupervised, and Shanquilla Hall was supposed to be on supervised visits only.
Who was she supposed to be with, being supervised by?
So usually the CPS can appoint somebody in the family, right? Or CPS caseworkers can. There's people there's actually businesses that they contract with.
So it was maybe somebody's house, and she was just supposed to be coming to visit.
Yes.
While it's super.
Yes. So she's now facing 3 charges of capital murder and 2 charges of aggravated assault. There was 6-year-old Legend Chappelle and then 2 5-year-old twins, Aaliyah and Aiden Martin. They didn't release the names of the other ones. They had been placed with another family member by CPS. The worker was there when it all went down and had to quickly call 911.
Was she asleep?
The worker was asleep? No, but I mean, what do you do? Like, the worker was outside of the house. Like, she couldn't get in, but all she heard was the mother screaming and stabbing and whatever.
Why
Was
she outside?
She was making an unsupervised visit.
Oh!
She showed up to the house unannounced, right?
Yeah.
To check up on these kids, which a good CPS caseworker does. Well, Shamia's in the house, and she's not supposed to be in the house. So she looks outside, and she's desperate. She sees the CPS caseworker. She knows she's probably going to officially get her kids taken away for good, and she flips, and she stabs the kids. The workers outside can't do anything but call 911.
My question, who is supposed to be the one who's the caretaker of the kids? We don't know. We just know because I'm like, if Shamaya just showed up to the house, who's watching the kids?
No.
Yeah, okay.
Which it happens all the time, right? It happens all the time is that, like, say it's grandma. Well, grandma can't say no to daughter. Yes, come see your kids, and something like this happens. So.
And these are all her baby,
these are all her babies that she birthed. Babies. Yes. Shamila, I already lost it. It has a $6 million bond, and it's $2 million for each capital murder charge for her twin kids and the other 6-year-old boy. And it turns out this is not her first time being arrested for stabbing someone. She's just Stabby Stabberson.
She's just Stabby McStabberson. Oh, stab happy.
And it turns out that somebody that's very close to her and her family has also fatally stabbed somebody as well. So this family deserves no
friends
knives.
with Aiden Fucci?
Are they? What's their issue with knives?
I don't know. Brian Koberger, what do they need to all go to? I think all the stabbing people need to just be in one stabbing room and just see who stabs.
Who wins? Last man standing. Yeah. In 2017, Shamaya stabbed her sister's boyfriend. Okay? So obviously she's out on probation or parole or something for that. But her twin sister was arrested for stabbing her 7-year-old daughter, June of 2021.
What?
Yes. Killed her. Stabbing and killing her 7-year-old daughter, June of 2021. By October of 21, she was ordered to go to the North Texas State Hospital. So she got some mental issues. So to this mama and this daddy, which is probably just the mama, both of your daughters have stabbed and killed their kids.
Yeah. Good job.
What's the problem? So people are raising the question is, okay, we obviously know this family is not a great family. Why did they place these kids with this family? Right? Why didn't they just
CPS at its best?
Why didn't they put them in a foster care or something? But in that area right now, there's 70 plus children that are living in the CPS offices or are living in motel rooms that are paid by the state because there's nowhere safe for them to go. And in some cases, their behavior's so bad that nobody will take them.
And that's where we get all these murders.
And so it was saying at the hotel room.
Because these poor kids. Man, these poor kids have no life. They have no chance. They have no...
And that's why they're so mad. That's why they're so angry. Just to know that nobody wants you or will take you. So they're even...
I could take a kid, but I'm not taking a kid who's going to be real mean.
They're fucking up the motel room. So now the motels are about to say, no, you can't bring these.
Well, they're just going to be on the street. Send them to California. We don't care.
Oh, it's
get them out of Texas.
It's so sad. It's not their fault. They were born in horrible
No, it's not their fault at all. They were born to the stabby parents.
Okay. And then my last one is May Nathan Millard. I told y'all there was a lot of news.
Oh, yeah. And I have one to add at the end. Just a short update.
Nathan Millard, 42 years old, from Georgia, visiting Baton Rouge for a brief work trip. He was last seen the night of February 22nd on video leaving his Courtyard Marriott. He was dressed in regular clothes, a black Carhartt shirt, some jeans, brown boots, a Columbia baseball hat. Tim Miller with EquiSearch joined because was not seen after that, joined the group and said that they know that he went to an LSU basketball game with a client and that he went to Happy's Irish Pub on 3rd Street. But he left the pub walking out on foot about 11 p.m. because he was cut off because he was having too much to drink. But when he left, he did not leave alone. He left with a mystery man.
Oh,
you know what I had to think of too? They cut him off for having too much
to drink.
For having too much to drink. But remember, just a couple weeks ago, this bar that's now shut down because they didn't cut off the little girl, Maddie Brooks.
Yep.
So I bet it's around that same area. So I bet those clubs.
It is.
Yes, Baton Rouge.
Yes.
So I bet they're being extra strict now. So on video, he's leaving the pub with just a mystery guy. So my question is this the client that he was at the game with? They have not said.
They haven't found the guy?
Mm-mm.
And he hasn't come forward? Oh.
Yeah.
If he hasn't come forward, then no, you're guilty.
His phone and wallet.
Or he's dead. Or he's in another rolled up carpet. Go ahead.
Another rolled up carpet. You just outed it.
Oh, sorry.
His phone and his wallet were found discarded a block away, and but not him. So phone, wallet in the middle of an alley. He showed up on a surveillance video near a Greyhound bus station in that area, and he was just walking, and the security guard was like, "Can I help you? Do you need some help? Do you want me to call somebody? Do you need help?" The security guard says that he looked out of place but did not seem to be in any distress, and that he offered him help, and he did not take it. He said he was fine.
Okay.
So he took off walking again. He was tracked until about 4:30 a.m. on different surveillance videos at different places down in that area, so like different businesses and places. But they have not released the names of any of these places. They've only released the initial pub and the Greyhound station. But when police watch these videos, they say that he does not seem to be at any of these places unwillingly, that it doesn't look like anything criminal in nature was happening, and that he was still with this mystery man who was like falling down and bending over like he was drunk.
Okay. Where's the mystery man?
On March 6th at 3:34 a.m., Nathan's body was found wrapped in plastic and rolled up in a rug in a vacant parking lot near the 2900 block of Scenic Highway for you.
Near some people. Old funeral home.
I couldn't tell what it was. I didn't know if it was a funeral home, but it was old and abandoned.
An abandoned. Yeah, it was just in this abandoned. I'm shocked how they found him.
So I saw one guy on a motorcycle, but then they interviewed another guy that said he was driving with his windows down and he smelled
it.
So he gets out and looks. At 3:34 a.m., I think that's sus.
That's a real suspicion.
What are you doing at 3:34 a.m.?
You're just out there smelling. I would be like, oh, somebody's smoking weed. I don't know. I never smelled a dead body before. Yeah. I kind of want to because I want to know what it smells like so I can recognize the smell. But I'm sure it's like real bad trash and dirty feet.
And that's what he was like. Is it a dead animal? And he was like, no, it's worse than a dead animal. Are people dumping old food out here? Nope, it was worse. And then he saw feet.
Maybe he was coming home from work.
Yeah, I was like, he had to have not been drunk, or was he? Drunk me probably would have been like, let's go see.
I'd be like, I see feet.
So, So police say that is where he was left, but most likely not where he died. But they want to know who this man was on the video. And then, like, what happened and why, like, dump his body. They say that there is no signs of foul play.
What? You rolled in a rug and plastic in a parking lot. What? No. Okay, are we back in the
Everywhere
UK?
Else.
Are we back in the UK and Hong Kong? Like, where are we?
So the autopsy results given by the coroner said that there's no signs of foul play. But on one of the things that I listened to, the police was like, meaning there was no blunt force trauma, there was no gunshot wounds, there was no like wounds to the body. He was not naked, like, so no signs that he was actually under some type of physical aggression or violence or something like that.
Okay.
Now what they think.
Somebody injected him with something, like what?
Yeah, and so they're doing.
And then they rolled him in the rug.
Police think that like he died somewhere else and somebody rolled him up and discarded of him in a panic.
Yeah, like maybe the guy who he was on the camera with, they had a secret rendezvous at a hotel and they started doing some drugs. And then homeboy was already too drunk and then he's doing the drugs and he like dies and the dude freaks out and he's like, I got to get rid of it. And he finds plastic, calls somebody, it's just like a whole Breaking Bad or something. Like he just rolls him up real fast and like
goes,
picks him up, puts him in the thing, and then drops him in the parking lot, and he goes back to New York or California.
But my thing is like he already had a hotel. Nathan had a hotel. Like, so if you're going to do something dirty, take him back to your hotel. They were walking on camera from 11:38 p.m. to 4:30 a.m. all around the area. Like they were accounted for that whole time, like walking. Maybe not every second of every minute, but if you needed to go do the dirty, why wouldn't you just go back to Nathan's hotel and then y'all would both be seen going back to the hotel?
But so they're on camera until 4:30 a.m. But how many days went by though?
And then it was found on March 6th, so 22nd to March 6th. So they're trying to find when he died, but they said that he died that night. They're not sure what time.
How do they know that?
Because they did the initial autopsy.
Oh.
But
Well,
I know there's so many questions that have not been answered.
It's wild. Whenever I found out, because I saw this story, and it was like he's a father of 4 or 5 kids, right? Or three to five.
He had
kids?
2 teenage sons, a 7-year-old girl, his wife, and his wife has been told that he died of an accidental overdose. And then that's like it. Case closed. Like not case closed. They're waiting for this other person, but it's.
But somebody was with him when he overdosed and rolled him up in plastic and then a rug and then threw him in a parking lot. So.
Yeah. To me, that's.
Yeah.
It's at least tampering with the body after the fact.
Oh yeah.
At the minimum.
Yeah.
So. Whew, that's it. That's all I have.
Oh, let me update you on Oscar Pistorius. We're going to South Africa real quick. Quick trip.
What episode was that?
Look it up.
Go back to our episode, Oscar Pistorius.
So Oscar Pistorius is the Olympic double amputee star. He was worldwide. He was known as the Blade Runner, and he was sentenced. He was sentenced to 13 years and 5 months in prison for killing his girlfriend in 2013. Her name was Reva Steenkamp.
Mm-hmm.
And after serving half of his 13-year sentence, the parole board is going to hold a hearing for him on March 31st, 2023. He was initially convicted of culpable homicide in 2014, served 1 year in prison, and then he was found guilty after that for murder. So culpable homicide, then murder. I don't know what's culpable homicide, but apparently it's not as bad as murder.
Remember, because he said there was an intruder. And
he
just shot through the door thinking it was an intruder, but it was actually her.
And then they came back after they appealed, and and then he got convicted of murder, raising his sentence to 6 years, and then ultimately in 2017 he was sentenced to 13 years. And there's all these different laws up in South Africa. Like you can after you've served a certain amount of time, now you're allowed to get your parole hearing, and so.
And just for murder, you don't get a lot of time up there.
Apparently not. I mean, let's see. If he's going to have served only 6 years for murder.
It happened in 2013. It's 23. So that's 10.
Okay, well. No,
But
it
he
happened
was
in
probably
2013. He didn't go in until 2017.
Okay.
But, I mean, there's people who are serving more time than that for a lot less of a crime.
Oh, yeah.
So, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
But he was pretty cute, so maybe if he gets out, I'll go to South Africa.
This wouldn't be a red flag at all.
I like to just,
Normal.
I like red.
She likes red. Okay, y'all, that is it. We will see y'all Thursday. Caroline, what should they do before they exit out of their app?
You need to go like us on the Instagram, follow us on there, follow us on the Facebook, and you need to go rate, you need to go review, and you need to go subscribe. On Spotify, on Apple, you can do all the things. Just kind of stalk us and harass us, and we'll be okay with it. Because you know what? We are not blankets, but we will keep you covered.
Keep you covered. Okay, y'all. Don't forget to
stay aware,
stay alive,
and always be DTF.
Bye, y'all.
Goodbye.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.